Thank you for tuning in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. You're listening to On Purpose with Love, and I'm your host, Natasha, owner and creative visionary behind this show's sponsor, Rapper's Delight, Charlotte, North Carolina's choice for gift wrapping and custom gift solutions. Today, we are discussing hard-won lessons in entrepreneurship with our guest, Ashanti Pender Horton, aka Munch the Kid. She is a creative based out of Atlanta, Georgia. Ashanti, I'm going to let you go ahead and further introduce yourself to our listeners, and then we'll dive right into the interview.
I am a digital artist and photographer based in Atlanta, Georgia. I shoot mainly landscapes and I do freelance photography. And when it comes to my digital artworks, I fill out and perform commissions for different clients, such as I've had logo work, t-shirt designs done, and as well as I create my own designs, which I'm hoping to start selling soon in my shop.
That's awesome. So I've seen your work before. I love it. Your style is fresh, expressive, it's full of energy. Can you tell us a little bit about what inspires your work?
Ooh, inspiration. So my main inspiration comes from, as a kid, if it wasn't a wall, it was a piece of paper. Just always being able to create something with my hands. Because before I did digital art, of course, every artist start as a traditional artist, which is pencil, paper, crafting things with your hands. So I always like to dig back into that in order to get my inspiration for my new projects because it motivates me to know if I was able to do this when I was this age, I'm pretty sure I can do it now. And it's just about thinking about how I can get better.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Munch the Kid and I were having a conversation a little while back, and she shared with me that she had a commission that didn't go quite as planned. And so
Mhm.
that was the inspiration for this particular for today's show, because there are so many entrepreneurs that I think come up against similar situations. Just as a little teaser before we go to our first break, um, can you tell us, just lay a little bit of a background of what that project was and what didn't exactly go as planned?
Okay. So the a project was I was commissioned to create a t-shirt design for an upcoming homecoming for an organization. And it involved a group of people. So I was communicating with one person, of course, but the overall project involved a group of people. Payment. That's where the issue arose. I just got ghosted. I just got ghosted. So it's kind of like one of those hard, like you said, hard learned lessons. And, but it's something you can really learn from versus just, of course, the disappointment of not getting profit from your creativity.
Okay,
And
so what I'm hearing you, and we're going to have to take a break real quick, but what I'm hearing you say, but perhaps the contract itself, the written contract could have been a
yeah.
little tighter. We're going to dig in a little deeper when we come back,
Mhm.
and we'll continue this discussion. You're listening to On Purpose with Love, and I'm your host, Natasha. You're tuned in to WDRB Media, the voice of the community, and we'll be right back after this break. Welcome back to WDRB Media, the voice of the community. You're listening to On Purpose with Love, and I'm Natasha, your host. If you're just tuning in, we're discussing hard-won lessons in entrepreneurship, and this episode is specifically pertaining to lessons around contracting. We have with us today our guest Ashanti Pender Horton, also known as Munch the Kid, and she is a creative based out of Atlanta, Georgia. And we've been discussing a project that she had where the communication started off good, but the contract could have been a little bit tighter. Munch, for those that are just tuning in, can you kind of reiterate what you just shared in the first half of our show, just to kind of catch our listeners up, and then we'll go from there.
Overall, communication of the project started off well. Again, this is representing an organization and a group of people, and I'm communicating with one of those people, and he's speaking for everyone. So, communication with him starting off well. And then as we go along with throughout the project, they're giving me feedback, telling me what they want done, what they want edited or taken out and added on, so forth and so on. Then I finished the project because we had a timeline because it was around their homecoming at the time. And it came down to payment, and it just kind of was like it started off with like, yeah, I'll get the money together. Then it kind of just kind of went where he just stopped responding to messages and things of that nature. But overall, contracting with that it with that was a major issue there.
That was so I'm guessing that since you were sending stuff back and forth to him, he pretty much had the final
No, no.
copy. Oh, okay, he did it. Okay.
Yeah, so he had a what's the word? A sample of the final,
Okay.
if that's the best way to put it.
So it wasn't used, he wasn't able to use it.
No, 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 no.
Okay, well that's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it was covered in watermarks. Always protect your work, artists. Photographers too. There's copyright protection, all that stuff, uh, in a place just for situations like these. So, yeah, it was definitely protected as he.
Okay, good. Good. And I mean, that sucks. And I know that there are some other artists, some other creatives that have been there, probably feeling like they spent a lot of time, gave their best energy, and then start talking about payment and it's crickets. Nobody wants to, feel like they've wasted their time, especially something so specific as that, because that's not even something you can reuse
Exactly.
in another way.
Mhm.
So let's talk lessons. In
Mhm.
terms of the business side of being an artist, you've already shared that it's important to protect your work, the watermarks, the copyright, and everything. What other lessons did you learn from this experience?
To know my worth, but to also think business while I'm creating. Because, as a creative, it's so easy to get tied up into the piece personally that you just, like I said earlier, put your all into it. And it's like, oh, yeah, I forgot this is not for me. This is, for this client. And, I can't be personally attached to this piece overall at the end of the day. And so business wise, yeah, like I said, when it comes to protecting your work, follow a plan, create a schedule and stuff for you and the client. So everybody's understood and, we don't have these mishaps at the end and, at the end of the project where both parties walk away without something
That
because
makes
the point of it was to come together and create.
right. That makes perfect sense. So are there any other ways that this experience has changed how you approach your future projects?
Most definitely. Like I said, I'm rewriting that contract, and I'm gonna have it looked over by multiple parties in order, because I am a up and coming business owner, so I like to get other business owners' opinions on things in order to better develop. So yeah, that's my big thing, along with planning, going back to that scheduling thing where because sometimes I have to intertwine these projects within my own personal life,
Hmm.
my current job as a photographer, so it can be shifty. So I gotta learn how to shift. And that's where perspective and planning and all that stuff comes into play.
So I do want to go back to one of the things you said about the contract that you're reworking.
Mhm.
I love that you said that you're going to have other people in the creative space to take, or that are business owners, but
Mhm.
also that are creatives, to kind of have them take a look at your contract.
Mhm.
For our listeners, she's not relying on Chat GPT. That is not your go-to when it comes to these types of things. Yeah, that might get you started, but you definitely want to have somebody that's been in the business to take a look.
Exactly.
Okay,
Yep.
so real quick, what advice would you give to an up and coming creative that just got their first paid gig, and advice outside of the specific contract?
First paid gig. Go in there, do your best because everybody's first paid gig is the most nerve-wracking because you want to do your best. So go in there, do your best, but make sure you know your worth in the process. Don't go in there and let them try to give you more than what you signed up for because I've been in that instance as well. And now I'm running back and forth trying to appease everybody, but this is not what we initially agreed on. So
Got
go ahead and you have to set those boundaries and just do you and do your work because you're here for a reason. They ask for you. That's one thing you have to always remember is they ask for you. So that means they must love something that you do. So when it comes to these first time gigs, you have to work creatively but also work strategically.
That's brilliant. Okay, so much. Tell us again where our listeners can follow you, follow your work, and support you.
So you can follow all this progress at Art by MTK on Instagram. That's ARTBY MTK on Instagram. And that currently right now is my only platform.
All right. Well, that's it for today's show. Ashanti, thank you so much for joining us. I know that there are so many creatives that can benefit from the jewels that you dropped today. So I definitely want to thank you for taking time to be with us today. For those of you listening, please continue to tune in every Tuesday at 3:45 p.m. You can listen live 24/7 by going to wdrbmedia.com and clicking on the Listen Live tab. And if you're interested in being a guest on the show or you want free advertising, call me, Natasha, at 980-285-2859 or email me at info@rappersdelight-llc.com. You can connect with me on social media at CLT Rapstar, that's CLTWRAPSTAR. And you've been listening to On Purpose with Love with your host, Natasha, on WDRB Media, the voice of the community. Until next week, continue to be blessed.